Hey everyone. Alright, today we're going to be replacing spark plugs on a 1.8 liter on a 2014 Kia Forte. And here's the tools that we're going to be using today. It's going to be a 3/8 ratchet, a 6-inch extension, or two 3-inch extensions. Magnet, don't have to have it, but it does come in handy. A 10mm and a 5/8 sockets. Or touch anything that doesn't need to be touched. We're going to add some extensions on, so you ain't got to get so close to the motor, but you don't have to use extensions for this part, but you're still going to use a 10mm socket. Remove your beauty cover. Simply just grab it. It pops up. It's got little rubber grommets.
Okay.
And those little rubber grommets hook onto these little round knobs. Then you're going to take your tin, and each one of these coil packs has a bolt that holds it on. Just break it free with the ratchet, and then it'll simply just spin out. Take the tin, set it out of the way. Now we're going to remove the wire. You can remove the wire before you do the bolt, or vice versa, just kind of how you want to do it. Try to clean this up. You can see here this little gray piece there. Show you after you pop it up.
Okay, so you push it up.
Pulling it out. See that one? How it's flat?
Yeah.
How this one's out.
Yeah, but you have to push it up to get it out, right?
Yeah, if you want to say that's up, yes.
Oh, okay, because that's why I'm like, you have to get it, push it up.
Okay. And then, see the little square right there?
Okay.
Listen, if it makes a sound, it pops. You just pop it in, and then this comes right off. And there's a better view of the little square.
Okay.
And then you take your coil pack out.
Okay.
When you take your coil pack out, check your rubber seal here. Check this whole rubber boot. Make sure there's no oil on it. If there is oil all over this, your inner valve cover gasket is leaking. Therefore, it will get oil onto the spark plug. When the spark plug starts to burn, you'll have smoke coming out. Now you switch over to your 5/8. If you're using a spark plug socket, the spark plug there's a little rubber bushing inside the socket that'll hold the spark plug. If you're not using one, the spark plug won't come out with it. Therefore, that's why I use a magnet to get the spark plug out. What you want to look at is how the tip is burning. If it's covered in oil, if it's got a nice brown coating, which just shows that these are burned, or at least this one is burning in a perfect burn pattern.
What are you using?
NGK spark plugs.
Why are you using NGK spark plugs?
Because they're good. There's no actual reason. You want to match them up. Make sure the threads look the same, about the same distance, and you just reverse order. They originally came with NGKs, but it's by preference. You can use whatever you prefer.
Okay.
Some people like Bosch, some people like NGKs, E3s. It's just according to what you like. And when you get to the point where it's tight, you just want to snug it just a little bit and then stop. Anything more than that, you'll strip spark plugs out. Spark plugs in there. There's no gap on this car. For most spark plugs, so you don't have to gap anything like the old cars. Get your coil pack, put it back down on the spark plug, and you'll feel it pop down on. So you're gonna put that back down in there. Put the screw back in, tighten it down by hand. Gonna take your ratchet and you just barely snug these down because it's plastic and they'll crack on you. Just snug. When you put these back on, you put it in, but you ain't got to worry about this, because when you push this, it pushes that back out.
Okay. And
then you move on to number 2. You just repeat this step 4 times each spark plug. That's it. You can go ahead and break all these free. And you can even go ahead and take all these out, because these aren't specific per one single coil pack. It's just for 10mm bolts. If there's enough wire on them, you don't have to take the wire off. If there's enough wire, you can just literally take and pull them out if you have enough wire.
But you have to remember which one goes where.
They're distanced
Oh, okay.
by the wire.
Okay.
So now that all the spark plugs are in and they're tightened down just snug, this number 1 spark plug wire is on a different loom than the other 3. It comes off with a wiring harness here, so it's got to be done a little bit separate, done differently. But the other 3 are on the same wire loom, so you can take all those off together. Again, pop them down onto the spark plugs. Start your 10mm bolts again. plastic, you only want to snug them down a little bit. You definitely don't want to put a lot of torque on them because you'll break the ear off of them. That's how you change the spark plugs out. Take your unification cover, line up your grommets, and it'll pop down on there. From there, we reinstall the battery. We clean up our mess.
Now we're going to start the car to make sure everything was done right. It sounds smoother now since you've changed the spark plugs than what it did sound like before you changed it.
Alright, so to look at our spark plugs that we took out, if you notice how nice and white these are, but you can see that I have a burnt area around the ceramic, which is letting me know that the blast is getting past the ring and through the spark plug and coming back out here, which lets me know this was losing compression on this one spark plug.